And now I would like to invite up an individual who started doing the Chidon Tanakh in 6th grade. Spoiler alert, she ended up winning the Chidon Tanakh in 11th grade, represented Israel, and now we are more than privileged to hear from Tamar Dahan from Melvin J. Berman Hebrew Academy, giving us some words of insight from, I could not think of a more appropriate speaker, a veteran Chidoner. Tamar, the floor is yours.
Hi everyone, I'm Tamar. I'm a senior at Berman Hebrew Academy in Maryland. So I've been involved in the Chidon for about 7 years now. My personal journey started on one ordinary day in 6th grade. My principal, who happens to be here today, walked into class and announced that there would be an info session for Chidon Tanakh at lunch. At that point, I'd heard about the Chidon maybe once in my life, and I decided to go and check it out. I listened to the presentation, and it sounded like a really cool program, and I'm sure that you guys could agree. Although I was a bit nervous at first, I signed up to participate that year. And I didn't know it then, but it ended up being one of the best decisions I have ever made. That first year was a whirlwind. Together with my teacher, Miss Novik, I learned Breshit along with parts of Yoshua and Tehillim, and I learned a lot more prakim than I probably ever had, and in a style that was a bit different from what I was used to at school. It wasn't always easy, but I really started to love learning Tanakh. I went to nationals, and I experienced something I never had before. Being in a room with hundreds of other kids who spent their year learning Tanakh just like me, people who also have a tremendous love of Tanakh, and who understand what goes into all of the learning and preparations. I felt like I became part of this really special community, which made the whole experience even better than it already was. And when it was time to choose whether I wanted to participate in Chidon the next year, it didn't take much thought to decide. Each year, I learned a few new books, and over time, I gained so much Torah knowledge. Now, I understand a lot more about our roots and where we come from. I also gained clarity about the values and the midot that are really important in Judaism. For example, some of the mitzvot in Vayikra 19 highlight the importance of treating others with dignity, kindness, and respect. And of course, I got excited every time I discovered that a famous saying was actually a pasuk from the Chomer, such as Matuvu Halech Yaakov from Balaam's bracha and Usha'avtem mayim b'sason mimayinei haYeshua from Yeshayahu's nevuah. Yes, the Chidon is a competition, and that adds another level of fun. But as you all probably know, the biggest rewards are what you gain from the learning and the way it really enriches your life. Last year, I had the huge privilege to compete in the International Chidon and go on the Machaneh Tanakh, also known as Chidon Camp. There, I got to meet Tanakh-loving high schoolers from all over the world. In my 2 weeks in Israel, I learned so much. But the one thing that particularly stood out to me, and the part that I think I missed the most, is the unity that everyone on the Machaneh had. Besides coming from all different countries, there were many differences among us. Some of us were Ashkenaz, and others were Sephardi. We had varying levels of formal observance, and we all had different hobbies, interests, and opinions. Still, we all quickly became friends and had a special bond over being Jewish and over our love of Torah. And the more I think about it, that wasn't the only place in which I saw this incredible achdut. Every year, we are all here from all over the US, and in some ways very different, but still coming together and celebrating Tanakh. And I think this dual nature of unity and individuality is reflected in the Tanakh itself. On the one hand, this special book teaches us about Am Yisrael as a collective. This includes our past with Yetziat Mitzrayim, Matan Torah, and so forth, our present through mitzvot that we're all commanded to do and that acts as guidelines for living good lives, and our future as a nation, going all the way to Acharit Hashanim, the end of days. Yet at the same time, every single one of us has a unique connection to Tanakh and can use it to develop our special individual relationship with God. For instance, one person will have a perspective on a certain story, pasuk, or figure in Tanakh, and it will be totally different from someone else's. Still, both perspectives are great and valuable, and that's one of the many beautiful things about learning Torah. We are living in a time that is so challenging for Am Yisrael, and we now need unity more than ever. Thank God, we have already been seeing this happen in the past 7.5 months and beyond, with so many people coming together and helping others in need, both in Israel and all over the world. May we only continue to grow in our achdut as well as our Torah learning. Behatzlacha to everyone, even though with everything you've learned, you really already won. Am Yisrael Chai.